Russia-Ukraine news. The U.S. disapproves of Putin's possible overture to North Korea. Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong-un might each have something the other wants, making them a potentially lethal combination in the eyes of the United States. China is the dominant player in the geopolitical chess game unfolding in the Pacific, and a meeting between the Russian and North Korean autocrats could have repercussions for the conflict in Ukraine, Washington's failed efforts to rein in Pyongyang's nuclear program, and the broader Pacific chess game. Washington has responded to the potential meeting by mocking Putin, warning North Korea, and trying to figure out what it means. The meeting could take place after Kim boards his armored train headed for the Russian Far East. As the war in Ukraine drags into another bloody winter, Russia may look to Kim to replenish its ammunition and artillery supplies. Drone and missile technology are fields in which Pyongyang excels. Meanwhile, Kim is aware that Russia is a long-standing and technologically advanced nuclear power whose knowledge could aid his own rapidly expanding program. It is also a major oil exporter, and both North Korea and Russia are subject to severe economic sanctions from the West. If they can find ways to work together to alleviate the difficulties caused by the roadblocks, business may be possible. The fact that his poor nation is supporting Russia, a much larger country, could be useful propaganda for North Korea's leader. And after years of diplomatic inactivity following the flurry of praise and summitry under former U.S. President Donald Trump's administration, he will get Washington's attention. Washington, as it has done repeatedly during the Ukraine conflict, is making a big deal out of intelligence agency reports in an effort to predict and debunk any moves Putin might make. When it comes to cutting sarcasm, U.S. Ambassador to Japan and acerbic political operative Rahm Emanuel is unrivaled. If Russia's invasion of Ukraine was part of a larger strategy to rebuild its empire, then, as Emanuel told CNN, that empire is now dependent on North Korea, it is dependent on Iran, two isolated countries, two countries that are seen as pariahs. That's how dismal the results of this war are. A White House official named Jake Sullivan said the United States is investigating whether or not North Korea is a significant factor in Russia's military operation. That is a question we have posed to our intelligence community. You raise a valid point. Sullivan said, I think there is an open question about how much materiel and what the quality of the materiel is that could be provided if it were to be provided. Our insight into both the quantity and quality of stocks is limited. Sullivan expressed concern that North Korea's image would be damaged if it sold weapons that Russia could use to attack grain silos or the heating infrastructure of major Ukrainian cities. But moral arguments have no effect on Kim, who keeps his people in a vast prison camp where they are subjected to repression and starvation. While the United States remains skeptical of a summit between Kim and Putin, both men have the ability to cause problems for the White House. Once Russia and the United States worked together to limit North Korea's nuclear and missile programs, but now that Putin is trying to undermine American hegemony, it's clear that cooperation is out of the question. That means the North's nuclear weapons will continue to pose a serious threat to American security. There is also a political aspect to this. If North Korea is in a position to provide Putin with substantial military assistance, it would boost Russia's hopes of prolonging the war at a time when Ukraine's slow-to-start offensive appears to be making real gains. There are growing public questions about Washington's multi-billion-dollar lifeline for Ukraine, and if the war drags on into election year in the United States, Putin may increase the political pressure on President Joe Biden. Trump's warnings that Ukraine should be cut loose and that he'd end the war if he won the 2024 election have only added fuel to the fire of skepticism. The meeting between Putin and Xi Jinping would add fuel to the fire of those who fear a global alliance of tyrants plotting against the United States. It is possible that Putin is looking to North Korea for military supplies because of his close relationship with Chinese President Xi Jinping, which has alarmed the United States. Of course, Russia is also a power in the Pacific, and its presence there could exacerbate the region's geopolitical tensions, posing the greatest threat to U.S. national security.